Hello, everybody. I'm Jonathan from Boredom Sated.
And I'm Boris from Boredom Sated.
Today, what we are going to talk about is a continuation of our creature comparison series. We are continuing with our undead, going back to the undead, and what we want to talk about now is the Lich.
Yes, the evil sorcerers that turn themselves undead so they can live forever.
So, the original history of the word Lich is from Old English, meaning corpse or any type of undead. In more modern fantasy, in the 20s and 30s, there were books that were brought out that were basically showing them as powerful sorcerers or necromancers that had the ability basically to make themselves undead or control the undead, and they were keeping themselves alive in that way. When we think of Lich now, what we think of is what was put out in Greyhawk, 1976, booklet by Gary Gygax and Rob Kuntz. That was where we get our current Lich. We have a phylactery with of a powerful undead caster of some sort, powerful caster who basically does a ritual of some sort to turn themselves into an undead caster of ever living life. Now, the one thing, of course, that makes a Lich also very special is their phylactery. A Lich's phylactery is essentially what we think of in pop culture, at least, as a Horcrux from Harry Potter.
Yep.
It's something that, unless it is destroyed, you cannot kill a Lich forever. The Lich will, in both cases, in both Pathfinder and 5th edition, when you destroy a Lich, they will revive at the phylactery within 1d10 days.
Yep.
So it's a very powerful undead mage of some sort that usually can have some sort of control over where they have this. They usually do not keep their phylactery on them to make sure that if you destroy them, you cannot destroy them permanently. Finding a Lich's phylactery has often been the end goal of several types of campaigns,
Yes.
where it turns out a Lich is the final villain. You defeat the Lich, and then you're like, yeah, now we need to find his phylactery. And then a few days later, you find the Lich again at one of his other hideouts, and you're like, all right, the phylactery's got to be here. And he's like, nah, I teleported here to make it so I'd throw you off the scent again. So
Yes.
a Lich is a very bad, very. The thing is, you think about it this way: the Liches are usually based on wizards who don't want to die. What are wizards? They're smart. So liches can be played incredibly intelligently, and that's one of the main things. Think of a wizard, but now add undead things onto it, and now also make it basically malevolence incarnate.
Yes. And the Lich in Pathfinder 2e is, again, a template that you can add onto other type of characters, most likely a spellcaster. And they do become significantly more powerful. They gain a level, pretty much for all intents and purposes. Their spell DC and their spell attack rolls increase. So if you have 10th level character, he becomes an 11th level spellcaster for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, so the Lich, again, is very different between the two editions. So I'm going to start with our 5th edition general look at it. The Lich in 5th edition is a CR 21. He's got lair actions. He's got a ninth level spell slot. He's got yeah, really that's about it. His lair actions are good because again it's a Lich's lair. You can do lots of things with that. His spell casting, he's a massive high level spellcaster, but his AC is low. His hit points are low. He's immune to certain damage, but it's really the same kind of damage that a lot of other things are immune to. He's immune to non magical weapon damage. He's resistant to cold lightning and necrotic, but he's not really immune to anything like that. He's got a lot of really cool stuff going for him. He's got paralyzing touch. He's got frightening gaze. A lot of the basic things you would think of from a really high level, powerful magic user slash undead creature. But overall, like, meh.
Yeah.
Comparatively
Whereas
to
the Lich
other
in the Path,
CR21s, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Whereas the Lich in the Pathfinder 2, the base creature that they give you he's a 12th level creature, which really is sort of right in the middle, but he's a bit a little slightly overpowerful for a 12th level creature. For example, he has phys- uh, resistance physical 10, except for magical blunts. So really playing on the idea that he's a skeleton body and piercing and slashing weapons are not doing as much to him as blunt would, which I think is an interesting play on the Lich character.
Yeah, I believe so. Also, the Lich in Pathfinder 2 is still a high level spellcaster because he's
Yep.
12th level. He can cast 6th level spells.
Yes. Yes.
So
All the way through. Yep. And the one interesting thing that he gains from his uh, phylactery is he can drain it once a day, which lets him cast any spell, even a spell that he hasn't prepared, up to his maximal spell slot.
yeah, so it's a powerful version. It's basically a wizard on a a wizard on undead juice. It's a very
Yes.
powerful It's a wizard of appropriate level who happens to also have the ability to do some extra fun, silly things.
Right.
For a 12th level creature, the Lich in Pathfinder 2 is quite strong. It is a good template, so you can add that on to make it a nice final boss.
Right.
The Lich as a final boss in general is a great concept, as we've already mentioned in the history. I'm just overall disappointed with how they did the 5th edition Lich because
Yes.
it's like it doesn't really have. It's a good spellcaster, but the only offensive cantrip it has is Ray of Frost. It's got
Yep.
Power Word Kill, but it can only cast it once. It's got
Yep.
Dominate Monster, but it can only cast it once.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
its physical abilities to harm you are pretty much non-existent. Like
Yep.
it has paralyzing touch and paralyzing gauge, so it can make it so you can't do anything for a while. But if
Right.
you make the wisdom save, then you don't really care very
Right.
much.
Whereas for a 12th level creature, the Pathfinder 2 has its melee attack is plus 24 for a 12th level character, which is in line with most martial classes if you don't have magical weapons. And
No, that's higher than
it's
most martial classes if you don't have magical weapons.
at 12th level.
24 at 12th level. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's
that
very
you're
very
right.
high.
It is. Yeah, yep. And the damage is 4d8 plus paralyzing touch. So it's the Pathfinder 2 version, and that's why I'm saying it's a little bit more overpowering. Is it not only has all the spell capabilities of a 12th level wizard, it also can stand up in a melee fight with you.
Yeah, whereas the 21st level Lich, its offensive melee spell attack is plus 12 to hit for 3d6 gold.
Yep.
Now the Lich's lair actions does give it some of its spells back. The lair actions again can make it a very very powerful creature. It's a Lich. It probably has some undead minions around, so you add other things to the encounter to make it interesting. But overall, just as a 21st level creature, meh.
Yep. Now the Lich here they don't list the rituals, so you could give them the rituals to do create the undead, but also now you have the create undead spell from the new player advanced players guide that you can add to the list here and really give them a lot of undead minions between the ritual and the
Again,
which
with that, you don't really need to worry about doing that because again, you just add whatever you're going to add. Like if
right
you're adding creatures to the encounter, adding creatures to the encounter. What I'm saying is that the way that this Lich works in 5th edition, you have to add creatures to the encounter to make it even close to
oh
a,
yeah
a difficult 21st level encounter.
yeah
So, as you can tell from what we're saying, again, the Pathfinder 2.1 is a template. It's got a lot of fun stuff to it, and the base version of it is actually pretty overpowered.
right
Whereas the concept of a Lich is one of the coolest concepts of evil creatures in Dungeons and Dragons. Like a Lich is second or third to a dragon, to like a powerful demon or devil, to a demigod, things like that. A lich is up there among the top evil characters that you don't want to fight. And the version in 5th edition is just, in my opinion, underwhelming.
Right. But interesting that you mention the dragon. They do have dragon liches in both games, and maybe we should take a look at that next time.
Yeah, and maybe that'll make me feel a little bit better about how they decided to do Lich in 5th edition. Either way, tell us your opinion. Let us know if you've fought Liches. Let us know if you think we're wrong about the opinion on this. I have not fought a 5th edition Lich. I've fought a lot of creatures in 5th edition, but Lich is not one of them. So maybe I'm just missing something.
Yep. I haven't fought one either, and I could be missing something, but I do believe it's a little bit under, powered in 5th edition. But please like or dislike, but tell us why you dislike it. Subscribe. And this is Boris.
And I'm Jonathan. See you guys next time.